I've been extremely happy with what comes in this carrying case. It is a Savage MultiFlex light stand, and it comes in at $160 at the time of this video. So I can't wait to tell you about this thing because I am absolutely impressed with it, and it has been a phenomenal addition to my workspace, and it just makes everything really, really easy to set up and use quickly, especially lights. So without any further ado, let's get into this light stand within this carrying case and we'll talk more about it. Before we take a closer look at the Savage MultiFlex light stand, I want to showcase how high quality this carrying case is and the pretty slick idea of how they designed it. So it's all built out of this really nice material, and the stitching is really put together really well. It is made of some really high quality protective type of canvas. It is 27 inches long in length, so it's really compact and travel friendly. You can open the top of this and kind of pull out the light stand itself, but they did this really neat thing with the top of it that you could just unzip it and pull the light stand out if you're, running and gunning and need to set up quickly and put things away and do things quickly without opening the whole entire carrying case. You can open it if you need to and stow other things away in it because there's a little bit of room. So you can see the padding around the walls of this carrying case are pretty substantial. It adds a lot of protective, bump resistance against, travel and things like that. So I am really impressed with just the travel case that Savage provides for the MultiFlex light stand. With that said, let's get this out of the way. Okay, the first thing that I want to highlight is the travel-friendly included and attached Velcro strap. You can see that it's screwed into the housing of the actual light stand, and they provide a really nice plastic clasp that feels strong enough that it's going to hold up over time. You just take this apart, and this is always attached to the light stand, so you're not running around looking for it. It is kind of long and kind of, cumbersome, but I'd rather have it attached to the light stand than not. The next thing I want to talk about that's included is the multi-tool that they attach to the actual light stand itself. You can pull this out and use it. It is attached via this clasp here, and you can use it to tighten down all of the included bolts and knobs and stuff like that, just in case things become loose. So you're not running around looking for a multi-tool that facilitates the diameters of these nuts and bolts and things. The one thing that I want to mention with this multi-tool that is attached to the light stand is that you cannot take this off without pulling this plastic clasp off and unscrewing this tool, which is a really nice addition considering you don't want to lose it. If it was just attached with some sort of tension or something like that, there's potential for it to just slide off or be pulled off. You have to pull the plastic clasp off and unscrew the tool from the plastic clasp. So you're gonna have to make a defined decision that you need to use this tool to actually use it. So you pull it off this plastic clasp, and you have access to the two separate tools that are going to be used to make tension adjustments to the light stand if you need to. Starting at the top of this thing, you can see that this is the way that it comes stowed away when you purchase it. You're going to have to take the mount off and place it on top, and it provides you with a 3/8 or a 1/4-20, and then it has these flush sides on this nipple that allow you to seat this thing appropriately. So if you make sure that it's flush inside there with the thread, this thing isn't going to move around. While we're on the center column, I wanted to turn this thing up vertically and demonstrate to you the air that is built into these things. So if you extend this thing to the top, tighten it down a little bit, and then you loosen it, you can see that there's some air resistance, so your light or whatever won't drop down. You can see that if I put pressure on it, there's a lot of air being caught in there, and that's a nice addition. So it's never just gonna fall down. So if I let this go, you can see there's some resistance there. I like that about like certain light stands or things, because I have been one of those people that have loosened up a certain column and it just drops down. I've been fortunate enough to not break anything of like high value, but with this, you have that extra protection. There are 3 columns, so there's 1, 2, so I gotta loosen this one up, and 3. And that is nice. On the center column that has the aluminum rails, you can see that there is a bubble level. That's gonna come in key when you're kind of setting this thing up on like differing terrain or in a corner or whatever. I use this thing all the time. I like having level things, and the included bubble level that's built into the light stand is really, really nice. So now here's where the uniqueness of this light stand come into play. Like I was talking about this center column, there are two legs that are attached and they kind of move in tandem together. So this allows you to get a good start to your base. So this leg out here is completely independent of the other two. So I can take this leg and do all kinds of different adjustments with it, because you can see it goes all the way to the top of this like aluminum column and can be really tightened up. This allows you to put this thing almost directly in a corner and have it have a stable light stand for heavy lights. The other thing that I use this thing a lot for is kind of setting out a base that is really, really low. So you can put this thing under furniture or under a table or whatever and get really close. And there's this telescoping leg here. All of the legs have that telescoping ability that allow you to kind of level this thing out using the included bubble level. That is pretty much all that I can talk about here with you on this camera without showing you demonstrations of this thing, because like I said, this is my favorite light stand and I absolutely am in love with this thing. For 160 bucks, you can't beat it. And if you're interested in purchasing it, I'll have an affiliate link in the description of the video. Full disclosure, that is my affiliate link, so I get some kickback from you shopping through that, but it costs you nothing in addition to making your purchase. It just helps support content creation here on this channel. So with that said, let's hop into some demonstrations. First and probably least practical for my use cases, but may not be for you, is being outside. Struggling with light stands outside and leveling them is probably a problem when you're shooting, on terrain that is uneven. This MultiFlex allows you to get an even base quickly. So I can take the individual leg, kind of set that out while I'm eyeballing the bubble level. And just like a pro, that light is set up evenly on level ground quickly, because this is a kind of a slope that I'm kind of shooting this on. All right, so here's another opportune way of using this Savage MultiFlex light stand. You've all encountered stairs at some point in your life, and you can actually set this thing up on stairs, because you can use the tandem legs to set the base of your light. So you can put it at each corner of the stair in the way that it's run. Then you take the separate second, the individual leg, and use it in a way that allows you to set a really nice base. So I'm gonna put it up, I'm gonna put it right here, and I'm gonna run this one down and tighten this up. And here we have a 300D set up on stairs in a secure fashion. Like, that's strong, that isn't going anywhere. Shake the shit out of this and it's not going anywhere. So hopefully you can see the value and how awesome this light stand is. This is probably the second most used way for most people to use this, because you all encounter stairs, and this allows you to set up a 300D in a stairway just like this. This is the final setup for this MultiFlex light stand that I find the most useful. It allows you to take a pretty substantial lighting source like an Aperture 300D and put it into a corner of a room by minimizing the actual footprint of the light stand. The first thing you want to do with that is make this adjustment and bring this leg almost all the way in, or you could bring it all the way in. For example, tighten it up. And you can see how this is right here, and it allows you to put it all the way into a corner. So with that, you put that way, and then you can extend the telescoping other ends of this light stand. And it looks like I can bring this up a little bit because I want to make sure it's level. And the bubble level is saying that this is level. Look how strong and sturdy this is. It's just two legs, and if you put it into a corner, like so, you have a really nice way to mount lights in a corner. So I have an Aperture 300D, and you take it, you can put it into a corner, use a certain key light or a backlight. I've hanged this and put the module for the 300D in corners, no problem before, and it works absolutely awesome. This is probably the most useful any light stand has ever been for me, and I plan to include many more of these light stands in my workflow because it allows me to have a lot of light sources with smaller footprints. What do you guys think about this light stand being in a corner? Feel free to leave me a comment down below because I think this is just ingenuity at its finest. Savage has done a really fantastic job with designing this thing and making it in the most compact fashion there is. So again, feel free to check the links in the description if you're interested in purchasing one. I would recommend it because I love this thing. That about does it for this video on the Savage MultiFlex light stand. Again, leave me a comment down below on what you think about this thing. Well, that about does it for me in this one. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I'm Tomas, and I will catch you in the next one.